When this first started happening, I realized something strange. During sleep paralysis, I would try to scream. I would try to call out to the people outside the room. Wake me up. Help me. But nothing came out. My mouth wouldn't open. My voice wouldn't work. Sometimes it felt like something was pressing on my face, silencing me. And then something else happened. I tried to pray. I tried to recite a sacred prayer, but it felt like something was stopping me, like my mouth was being covered. In one episode, a shock ran through my body, almost like I was struck, paralyzed, electrified, and then I thought, maybe the ancient prayer scares them. So I continued the prayer silently, inside my head, to calm myself, to resist. It felt like a powerful script, too powerful to be random. So what is happening here? Let's slow this down. Sleep paralysis has a clear neurological base. During REM sleep, the brain shuts down the muscles. This is called REM atonia. It prevents you from physically acting out your dreams. But sometimes the system misfires. The brain wakes up. The body stays locked. Consciousness, on. Muscles, off. You want to scream. Motor cortex cannot move the face. Speech muscles are offline. The brain hates gaps in explanation. So when you try to speak and fail, it may generate a narrative. Something is stopping me. Something is silencing me. This is not unique to one culture. In Japan, they call it kanishu bari. In Europe, it was the night hag. In parts of Africa, it is described as a spirit attack. In Turkey, it is called karabasan. The story changes. The mechanism does not. Now the second part, the shock. When REM ends abruptly, the autonomic nervous system can spike. Sympathetic and parasympathetic systems collide. A wave of electricity can run through the torso. People describe it as, I was struck. I was possessed. I was electrocuted. But neurologically, it has a pathway. Now the prayer. When you start praying, something important happens. Breathing becomes rhythmic. Cognitive control increases. The prefrontal cortex engages. Panic begins to decrease. The amygdala, the brain's alarm center, quiets down. When panic drops, the hallucination destabilizes. It may feel like they are afraid of the prayer. They retreated. But from a regulatory perspective, your nervous system just stabilized. Now let's go deeper. Why do we try to scream at all? Humans are not built to survive alone. We evolved as tribe-based beings. In threat, the oldest reflex is not to fight. It is to call. A baby does not calculate. It cries. Crying is a tribal alarm. In threat, the amygdala activates. The sympathetic system turns on, and a social distress call is triggered. But during sleep paralysis, the call cannot happen, so the brain may escalate. If the physical tribe cannot respond, the mind may reach for the ultimate tribe, God, ancestors, protective forces, higher agency. In evolutionary psychology, there is a concept called hyperactive agency detection. If you hear a rustle in the dark, if you assume it is wind and you are wrong, you die. If you assume it is a predator and you are wrong, you overreact. The brain prefers false positives over fatal negatives. So threat easily becomes someone or something. And when threat meets helplessness, the mind reaches upward. Tribe gives family, gives humanity, gives God, a hierarchy of belonging. This does not invalidate faith, but it suggests a possible mechanism. Threat triggers social seeking. If no physical tribe is accessible, the psyche seeks metaphysical tribe. Now here's the real question. When you turn toward God in that moment, is that conscious devotion? Or is it ancient survival software activating? Maybe both. Sleep paralysis has a strong neurological structure. the experience feels absolutely real. But the brain, in a half-dream state, can produce hyperreal threat simulations. The intensity does not prove external origin. The realism does not equal external agency. The brain is capable of constructing full threat narratives, while muscles remain offline. So the experience is real. The fear is real. The shock can be real. But the explanation we choose, that requires caution. And here is the final reflection. If beings were truly afraid of specific prayers, why do people across every culture, every religion, every deity system experience the same phenomenon, different gods, different languages, same paralysis? Is it the same entity everywhere? Or the same brain everywhere? That is where the real inquiry begins. Not to dismiss the mystery, but to examine it without surrendering to the first traumatic interpretation, because the human brain, when half awake and under threat, is one of the most powerful scriptwriters in existence.